everyone, good afternoon and welcome back to Cheddar, brought to you by HP. There's a slew of accusations right now against now disgraced film producer Harvey Weinstein, bringing the issue of sexual harassment in the workplace back to the forefront. Joining us now to discuss the ways to tackle this issue is leadership coach and friend of the show, Daskal. Lolly, it's great to have you back, but unfortunately for a topic that's not so pleasant.
Absolutely, but we have to know how to handle it, right?
Yes, so how would you advise people who are experiencing this in the workplace to handle the situation?
So there are a couple of ways, and actually I wrote an article, 10 tips how to deal with harassment. So the first thing is, I say in the article, is to use your resources. Every single organization has a handbook or has protocol of how to handle harassment. So the first thing is find out what it is and learn to utilize it. The second thing is report it. Most people wait 3 months, 6 months, sometimes they don't report it at all. And so it's very, very important to report it immediately. And when you report it immediately, report it to the right person, to either HR, your supervisor, someone that can do something about it. So that's very important. The third thing is write it down. Most people, they're so embarrassed or ashamed that they think they want to talk about it, but they forget certain things about it. So it's very important to write down the places, the person, when it happened, how did it happen, as much detail as you can. And don't leave this report or this written journal at work, just in case something happens. Keep it at home or someplace that it's safe, because if you need to leave suddenly, you don't want to say, oh, my reports are in my desk drawer. Another one is very important, is band together with your colleagues. If something has happened to you, most likely it's happened to someone else. So then band together with other colleagues. Now, sometimes a colleague would say, oh, I don't want you to talk about me, or I don't want to say anything. Yeah. In your report, just put down, I'm not the only one. And let them do the investigating.
And Lolly, I wanted to ask, you know, the hashtag #MeToo has been trending so much on Twitter, on Facebook, and I have been absolutely shocked by it. I mean, I was going through my Facebook feed and it's like every other post has that hashtag, and it shares several examples from so many people I know about harassment in the workplace. It's been totally shocking to me. Why do you think it's so difficult to talk about these things and to bring them up when they do happen? And why is it now are we at a turning point where it's easier or less of a challenge to actually go public about these things and surface these things?
Great questions. You know, the hashtag #MeToo has been so powerful, but people are ashamed. People feel like they're going to be the only one that says something, and people are going to think that what they're saying isn't true. It's almost like one against the powerful one, the one who has influence. It's usually the boss, it's usually the one who's the leader, and so they're ashamed or embarrassed or feel disempowered. The reason why #MeToo has taken on such force is that actresses after actresses with influence have come out and said, it happened to me. And sometimes a crowd needs a poster person in order to say, okay, I'll tell you what happened to me too. But until that one person takes that step forward, people sometimes have a hard time.
I think a lot of the anger too is that there are people who feel like there have been friends or other coworkers who have stood by and been complicit, witnesses to these acts but done nothing. So what would you suggest if you are an employee witnessing something happening to someone else on your team that they do?
So actually, I just wrote an article today, what you should do. And the biggest, like I have this poster that I always say to my clients, if you see something, say something or do something. If you're silent, it's almost being a witness to something but not doing anything about it. As you said, it's being implicit of like what's happening.
Before we let you go, I want to ask about the responses that you've gotten to these articles that you've put out, because I know you've gotten a lot of those. What have those been like?
So because I coach at a very high level, and I usually coach, you know, very influential men, people now have felt, because I wrote this article, that they can come to me, talk to me, write to me, so that I could do something about their boss, or I could do something about their leader. And they're saying, I was scared to tell you this, but since you wrote the article, I want you to know it's in our organization. And it's not just one of us or two of us, it's many of us. And so the articles and the emails that people are writing are very heartfelt. And I said, I'm going to write another article, which today it was about men, if you want to help your women colleagues do these things, only because it was from the emails that I've gotten.
All right, well, this is a very important topic, and we appreciate your efforts here, and we'll continue to talk about it here, of course.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thank you.
You.